Please adhere to YouTube's selected guidelines before viewing the content of this video. I do not encourage or condone any products, actions, or behaviors shown in this video. All videos are produced in a safe, professional, and controlled environment. Please do not attempt to replicate any actions performed during video. All actions are performed by professionals. And so I guess this is the end you're supposed to shove in the IQOS. I think that's the end you're supposed to shove in the IQOS. So let's just go ahead and get this all opened up. Let's go ahead and shove this in here. Okay, so now this bar is going like that, and I assume it's either going to turn off or turn on fully once I'm ready to take a hit. Is it warming up? Can I feel it warming up? It hasn't been 20 seconds yet. I know that. It hasn't. Oh, it's starting to steam a little bit. It's starting to steam a little bit. There we go. It's going. Oh. Okay. Let's go ahead and see what a heat not burn tobacco device is like for the first time. I think it's all good to go. All right, bet. Yeah. Well, y'all are about to find out what my opinion on heat not burn tobacco devices is. I'm a little bit nervous to hit this. I am also very excited to hit this, though. Let's go ahead and give it a go. Let's go ahead and see what heat not burn tobacco devices are all about, you know what I'm saying? The taste is a little bit odd. Kind of just tastes like, I'll be honest, a Marlboro Light from the United States. Just very papery taste. Doesn't really taste like tobacco in all honesty. But it hits like a cigarette. It hits more like a cigarette than a vape does. The smoke comes through very, very, very warm, I will admit. Which is not exactly what I was expecting. I was definitely expecting it to be more like a cigarette. But it comes through a lot warmer, which is a little bit odd kind of thing. It comes through a lot warmer, like the smoke. It does not seem that hot when you're smoking it out of a cigarette, but this smoke seems really, really, really warm. It also smells a little bit. I saw something online saying that heat not burn devices smell a little bit like farts. I wouldn't really say it smells like farts per se, but it definitely doesn't smell like tobacco, that is for sure. Very, very, very interesting. Very, very, very interesting. Huh. Well, this is not so bad, though. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. This is not so bad. It is actually surprisingly rough. I will admit, I was expecting this to be kind of smooth, which is something I should have said at the beginning of this video, but I didn't. But this is actually surprisingly rough. It hits in the back of your throat, kind of like a rougher cigarette. It definitely hits a lot more like a cigarette, but it tastes different. It definitely tastes different. It smells different. It is different. The smoke itself is different, but it still hits like a cigarette. Buzz-wise, I've got to try to get a buzz, so I'm going to go and achieve a couple hits. Buzz-wise, right now, okay, I'd say it feels like a cigarette buzz. I'm actually really surprised right now. I'd say it feels like a cigarette buzz, but it's a little bit more of a body buzz than a head buzz. So it's a little bit different than a cigarette buzz, but not all that different. And one thing I just noticed is that this little line right here is clicking down. This is clicking down right here. I think that's as much time as I have left. So I'm going to go and achieve a couple more hits. And then after that, I'm going to go ahead and actually give you guys my final thoughts on this experience. Apparently, you can get infinite hits. Oh, and it's I think it's just about done. It just vibrated, and that's now blinking. Yeah, I think that's it. Well then, and that is, I guess, the device. How warm is that? That's a little bit warm. It's not bad, though. Not at all. Let's just go ahead and close that up. Overall, not a bad experience. And yeah, that is very warm. And smelling it, it definitely smells very odd. It definitely smells very odd. Does not smell like tobacco at all, I will admit. Very, very, very odd. I'm going to go ahead and get my little portable ashtray out, and I'm just going to go ahead and shove this in here just so I don't have to worry about littering it or anything like that kind of thing. But I definitely have to say the buzz was a little bit different than cigarettes, but not as different as vaping, because vaping has, of course, a similar buzz to cigarettes because you're using the same method of inhalation. You're still inhaling it and everything like that kind of thing. So of course you're going to get a somewhat similar buzz to cigarettes, but it definitely is still a different buzz. Same with, of course, with cigars and pipes and everything like that kind of thing. It's more similar than not, more similar than using a nasal or an oral tobacco form, but different. And this is no different. It's a little bit different than cigarettes. It doesn't give you the same head buzz as cigarettes do. It gives you a little bit more of a body buzz. And I'd actually have to say, the buzz of this is kind of like an in-between between vaping and cigarettes. I'd say this is right in the middle of vaping and cigarettes, which is very, very, very interesting. Surprisingly rough. The taste was odd. Not really to my preference. Not a bad taste per se. It certainly wasn't a bad taste by any means. It was just odd kind of thing. Not something I'm used to, that is for sure. Taste-wise, it definitely comes off more like a burned vape, in all honesty, than it does a cigarette. And I definitely have to say, roughness-wise, surprisingly rough. I did not expect this to be all that rough, but it was actually surprisingly rough nonetheless. And I definitely have to say, other than that, what are my final thoughts? I didn't test the body. I should have done that, but the body really wasn't all that big, if I remember correctly, just how much I was blowing out and everything like that kind of thing. And yeah, no, overall, I can definitely see why these are so popular in Japan. It hits more like a cigarette than not, and it's very convenient. And that is exactly how I view this device right here. I can't remember if I spoke about it at the beginning of this video, but Japan has some very intense public smoking laws. In a lot of bigger cities in Japan, you're not allowed to smoke on the street, and you can get a 1,000 yen fine for doing so, which granted is only like $7.50 USD, so it's really not that much, but you can still get a fine for it. I don't know whether you can pay it right there. I don't know whether you have to go to court for it or anything like that kind of thing. And I'll be honest, not a lot of people really care kind of thing. People care during the daytime when there's cops out, but at night when people are drinking, they don't care kind of thing. But people who want to be a little bit more respectful and everything like that kind of thing, if they want to be, I guess, maybe not respectful, but a little bit more discreet about them smoking on the street, are going to use one of these. Because even when you're using it, even when it's still going, you can shove it in your pocket. You don't have to worry about burning the inside of your pocket with a cigarette. If you can't do that with a cigarette. You can't shove, well, you can shove a cigarette in your pocket midway through smoking and everything, but I wouldn't. I don't want to burn the inside of my clothing kind of thing. No, thank you. This, though, I'd have no qualms with doing that with. Shove it in my pocket while I'm walking down the street kind of thing. I'd have zero qualms with doing that, in all honesty, because you don't have to worry about ash. You don't have to worry about burning the inside of your clothes or anything like that kind of thing. The worst you got to worry about is making the inside of your clothes smell. That's the worst you got to worry about. So I totally see why people use these in Japan on a very, very, very significant basis. Like 2 out of 5 people I see in smoking areas in Japan are using a heat not burn device like this one right here, if not this exact one, in all honesty. Although most people I see using a heat not burn device tend to be using Plume X, which is Japan Tobacco's newest heat not burn device in Japan. Most people seem to be using those. But either way, I totally see why these are so popular. A lot of Japanese apartment buildings won't let you smoke on the balcony. But with this, all of a sudden, you can be a hell of a lot more discreet. This is essentially, in my opinion, Japan's answer to vaping. In the United States, if you want to be discreet and you still want to smoke nicotine, you still want to smoke tobacco, what do? You either go for a walk and have a cigarette, or you vape. You can hit a vape anywhere. You can hit a vape inside. And while I wouldn't go as far as saying you could hit this inside, I definitely do still think this is more smelly than a vape, of course. I do definitely think if you just went on your balcony and you were a little bit discreet kind of thing, you sat down, you made sure your neighbors weren't outside or anything like that kind of thing, and you were just puffing away, maybe you'd zeroed every single hit or something like that kind of thing, I really do think that you could get away with using this, not only in public, not only on your balcony, honestly inside if you really wanted to get away with it kind of thing. I see why these are so popular in Japan, because their public smoking laws are so intense. It really is I totally understand. I totally understand why this is so popular in Japan. I 100% get it. As a cigarette smoker, though, what is my opinion on it? Can it replace cigarettes? No. No, 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 no. It cannot replace cigarettes. But I can definitely see myself using this. I don't think I'm not going to finish off this pack of heats right here. I'm going to call these heats. I know these aren't heats. I'm used to seeing heats. I'm going to call these heats. I know I'm going to use the rest of the pack of heats. And I know I'm probably not going to mind using it either, in all honesty. Mainly just because it's not bad. This experience was not bad. Would I spend the $30 again on this device? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't spend it again. But now that I have it, I'd might as well use it, right? Right? That's what I'm saying, at least. And so I can definitely see myself using this more in the future. Not as a cigarette alternative, but just as something to use when I'm in a public smoking area and I don't feel like lighting up a cigarette. I don't feel like maybe the ashtrays are all full with people crowded around them and everything like that kind of thing. I'll use this instead. And that really is what this is good for. It's good for being a little bit more discreet. It's good for not having to ash and everything like that kind of thing. That's what this is good for. But it can't replace cigarettes. It definitely can't replace cigarettes. But let me tell you all what, I still got a pretty fat buzz. I'm feeling pretty good right now. No, I was feeling pretty good. The buzz is kind of dissipated a little bit, but I'm feeling pretty good right now nonetheless. And so certainly no complaints on my behalf. This has overall been a pretty good experience, and I'm looking forward to giving you guys a full review of the IQOS Illumina 1 in the future, and I'm also looking forward to giving you guys a review of these heats right here, and I'm also looking forward to giving you guys a full review of both Plume and Glow in the future as well, because I went ahead and bought both of them too. I went ahead and bought both of them too, because I mean, like, hey, gotta make content, you know what I'm saying? Gotta make content. So I went ahead and bought both of those as well. So I'll be having a bunch of heat not burn videos coming up in the future. I'm very glad my first experience with a heat not burn device has been a positive one. Honestly, not bad. Can't be a cigarette replacement for me. There's just something about lighting up a cigarette and just enjoying it just like that and everything like that kind of thing. But this honestly doesn't do a bad job of emulating it. You still have to put it in there. You still have to click the button and everything like that kind of thing. There's a little bit to it, and you still have to put effort into you can't just puff it like a vape kind of thing. It still has that sort of ritual like a cigarette, which is something I really like about cigarettes. And this does a really good job of emulating it. And honestly, not bad. Not bad. Not bad at all. Can't replace cigarettes, but I'm not going to waste my money. I'm still going to use this kind of thing. I have zero issues at all with using one of these devices right here. Certainly no complaints on my behalf. I think that's just about my final thoughts. I feel like I'm forgetting to say something. I can't really think of what I'm forgetting to say, though. If I remember what I was going to say, I'll put it on the screen right now, but I don't really remember what I was going to say. I just feel like I'm missing talking about something. I can't remember what, though. Can't remember what. No, not bad at all, though. Not bad at all. I'm looking forward to using this more. Looking forward to giving possibly more heats than just the Terrera rich regular pods, heat sticks, whatever you want to call them kind of thing. Reviews in the future. Definitely planning on it, that is for sure. And looking forward to delving into a little bit of a different tobacco market on the channel, that is for sure as well. I certainly hope you guys have enjoyed watching this video. If you guys have enjoyed watching this video where I, a cigarette smoker, used a heat not burn tobacco device for the first time, of course, please make sure to like and subscribe for more content. I have my Instagram, my book, my merch, my P.O. box, and my second channel all in the description down below. Go check it all out. And of course, if you guys have used a heat not burn tobacco device, or if you guys haven't used a heat not burn tobacco device, let me know what y'all's thoughts are on them in the comments down below. But yeah, until the next one, y'all, stay safe and peace and have a great one. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know what I'm saying?